So this right here, it's a big mess. And don't worry, this isn't some kind of drama video. This is going to be more of a serious look at things and then some advice to my fellow gamers out there. So let's get into it. Here we go, back at it yet again, but today with slightly a little bit of a different video. Now, if you guys want me to do a giveaway with Logitech, make sure you simply just smack that like button real good and I might do a giveaway. But anyway, now let's dive into the actual topic of today's video, which is the FaZe and Tfue contract dispute. And as you guys know, my channel is a gaming news channel and I don't usually cover this drama stuff, so don't worry, I won't be touching that drama side of things. We'll be talking more about the contract, the situation, everything that will unfold from it. Now, you guys have probably already heard about the whole FaZe Clan and Tfue situation regarding the contract, Tfue wanting to leave. It's pretty much out there. Everyone knows about it. I did report on it previously in a video a couple of days ago, like 3 days ago now. I didn't make it a huge part of the video, but I just wanted to touch on it. But then this thing just took next level and I kind of had to go in and really dig in and touch on everything. But if somehow you don't know anything about this or who FaZe Clan or Tfue are, I'm going to quickly just refresh a few people out there. So Tfue is probably the biggest Fortnite player out there right now. Sorry, Ninja.
I'm so dumb, dude. I'm done with this game, man. It's bad, dude. It's so bad, man. Are you kidding?
And well, Tfue ended up signing with FaZe Clan, one of the biggest organizations in esports, and this happened last April 2018. At the time of Tfue signing with FaZe Clan, he was relatively unknown. He was starting to grow, but nowhere near the amount he probably would have gotten without FaZe. Don't get me wrong, he wasn't just some kid with like 57 subscribers, but FaZe definitely did help him grow, and he wouldn't be the size he is now probably without them. And that's just the reality of the situation. Tfue now has over 10 million subscribers, and basically all of that has come since April 2018 when he did sign the contract with FaZe. You can see that huge jump. It's there. It's obvious. It's just like proof in the pudding. But now it's all come out into the public that Tfue and FaZe have been trying to renegotiate that exact contract, but Tfue hasn't actually been happy with anything FaZe has changed, and he essentially wants to get out of it. So most of you up to about this point have heard everything I've basically said. This was just a quick fill-in for anyone that didn't know at this point, but this is where it gets really, really interesting from this point on, and I won't be picking sides or anything. I'm gonna kind of evaluate everything that everyone's put out on the table, everything that everyone's going through right now, and we'll look at FaZe and Tfue and their situation. So first off, Tfue did end up releasing this video behind me, basically asking to release the contract. So Tfue wanted that contract released by FaZe, like out into the public, but the thing is, the contract ended up leaking anyway. You can actually kind of see it behind me there. I don't know if I can legally show the entire thing in this video. Don't want to be taken down in any sort of way, but I may or may not have linked it in the description anyway. But the thing about this contract is, this contract, seriously, I've just got to say it, it's a joke. A lot of people out there have been talking about the main part of this contract that everyone saw right away and everyone just jumped on board, which is the 80-20 split, where FaZe takes 80% of whatever Tfue earns, so Tfue has to hand over 80% of his earnings, which is insane. Now, FaZe representatives, including FaZe Banks, have come out and stated that they've only taken $60,000 in the past year from Tfue, which, to be fair, is pennies compared to the millions that Tfue is raking in. However, the contract still allows them to take the rest of the money at any point in time. We don't actually know if FaZe would really go in and go, hey, Tfue, we want those millions of dollars that you owe us and that 80% that didn't cover over the last year. But the problem here is the way the contract is structured, they can still take whatever they want. They can go in, collect that as FaZe Bank states, and take the rest of the millions of dollars that Tfue hasn't actually exchanged with them that he technically owes them according to this contract. Now, what's interesting is that at the time of Tfue signing this contract, there were different lawyers and representatives in place that structured that first contract to the people that are in charge now. But at the end of the day, it's still a dirty contract. It's still just something odd to put out there for someone that you call family. As you guys know, FaZe Banks has referred to Tfue as family, as a good friend, as so many different things along those lines, and you wouldn't necessarily want to offer your family or best friend or anyone along those lines a contract so dirty that you just wouldn't do that. You wouldn't offer someone that you love dirt to eat. It's basically that. You just simply do not offer your friends or family a contract like that. I don't know how to simply just put put it that way. Now, another key thing to point out is that this was actually potentially done illegally, as FaZe didn't have a license to operate as a talent agency, which would go against a lot of what's in the contract and how it's laid out, which is a bad look. On top of everything so far, the biggest kicker in the contract that could completely ruin Tfue is the termination clause, which would bar Tfue from competing or creating or streaming or anything along those lines for 6 months as a gamer after the termination. And that right there, that's the part of the contract that really gets under my skin. I'm a fellow creator, obviously nowhere near as big as FaZe Banks or Tfue or Ninja or any of those guys, but seeing something like this is just ridiculous. A lot of kids out there are going to be like, no, but that's just industry standard. It really isn't. Not in this situation, in no way. For someone that's competing, 6 months, that's a death sentence. On top of that, someone that's streaming every single day, that's a death sentence. You cannot do that to someone that needs to stream every single day, create content, or compete at events for the next 6 months. That's just plain ridiculous. Trust me, I've been through stuff like this before, and you don't want to be in it. I know what these guys are going through right now, and especially it being so public. My situations, my legal stuff has never been in that sort of like public eye. And I can't imagine what Tfue, FaZe Clan, and all the representatives are going through right now, especially the lawyers. The lawyers must be like, everyone just shut up and get off social media, stop it. Then again, to look at it on the other side, a lot of this stuff might not even progress like it hasn't over the last 6 months if it didn't make it in the public eye. So you have to think about that too. But anyway, now away from what FaZe has technically done wrong and their contract and everything along those lines, and to what Tfue has potentially done wrong in this situation. From what it seems, and as I stated, FaZe has actually tried to negotiate with Tfue over the last 6 months, and they wanted to create a new contract that benefits both parties. The only problem is that from the outside looking in, and how it's all played out so far, it does seem that Tfue doesn't want anything at all to do with FaZe and just wants to be completely gone from the organization. To add to that, it's come out that Tfue has also wanted to start his own esports organization, which would directly compete with FaZe. FaZe's CEO, Lee Trink, actually explained it really well in this Twitter post behind me right here. He basically stated that it would be like the Los Angeles Lakers having LeBron James on their team, as they do, and then LeBron going, hey, I'm just going to leave right now and create a completely new NBA team and compete against you guys. That's essentially this situation if Tfue was going to leave and then just create his own esports organization. So right there, FaZe and everyone can pretty much see the intentions of Tfue and what he wants to do. And I really don't think anyone will walk out of this truly happy. It's going to go one way or the other, and it's just not going to be a really good ending to anything right here. The relationship is already ruined pretty much. I doubt they work anything out. It's just, yeah, no one's going to be truly happy at the end of the day. And realistically, the best bet to come out of this will be that Tfue walks and FaZe just have to take one on the chin. Either that or Tfue will be stuck in the contract unless he wants to back himself for the next 6 months of not streaming but creating non-gaming content, if he's even allowed to do that to an extent. And then also he won't be able to compete at events for the next 6 months. So that's the only option if Tfue just decides to walk and then ends up just not streaming or anything along those lines for 6 months and backs himself that he will come back stronger. There are obviously other ways this could play out, and FaZe legally can still take millions of dollars from Tfue. We can't forget about that. That's legally in the contract. All they really have to do is just send an invoice for everything that he owes and what they're owed, and that way they can just completely ruin any sort of relationship that they had, which I don't see happening because so far they've actually been all right with it and they haven't taken anything, and I doubt they'll do that. I seriously don't see FaZe doing anything along those lines because I think that would hurt FaZe as the organization a lot more in the public eye than it would be to just lose Turner. So it's a really tough issue right here. It's a really messy situation, as I've stated many times. And it really just sucks to see something like this, but the most important part is we can all learn from it, especially people out there that want to get into the gaming industry, that want to get into the entertainment industry, the esports. Depending on what you want to go down the line, you'll learn from this. Now, from my own personal experience, I'm signed to a talent agency. I have a management team, and that's all good, right? But in the past, I've signed many other contracts. I've done many brand deals, And I've seen some stuff here and there that got me question things. And I've also been owed quite a lot of money from companies that took quite a long time to pay me out. So I understand FaZe and their side of the thing. And then obviously Tfue is probably wanting to make brand deals go on with other companies that FaZe can't work with, or vice versa. And it's a big mess, as I've stated many times now. And as you guys know, I've been doing YouTube for like 10 years. I've had multiple channels, and I'm not the biggest channel out there in any sense, but I've seen my fair share of bad deals from time to time. And one of the worst ones, I don't know if I can legally even say it, but some of you may even catch on what I'm talking about. I saw a lot of people sign a certain contract and go with it. And eventually that screwed those people like really, really bad. And I stepped away when it was my turn to sign before I even knew. This is years before we found out how bad it truly was. And I kind of didn't understand a few things, so I Googled them, which sounds ridiculous, but trust me, Google does help. And then on top of that, I had a few key people that I reached out to read over that contract and give me some advice. And you should always lawyer up. It will save you money. It may seem like it's going to cost something, and some people may not have that. So reach out to those people that will help you out, that you really trust, and have a few people look over that contract, because at the end of the day, you could be really, really screwed and out of a lot of money, or out of your own channel in some sense. And to note down, at the time, I was still fairly young. I've grown and learnt from those experiences. Luckily, I've never been completely hurt by any of this stuff. And I know some of you guys out there have probably been hurt by some contracts, some deals that go on behind the scenes. And it depends. It really depends on how you tackle the situation. For Tfue, similar to me at that time, he really wasn't in any place to negotiate his contract. So that definitely made it a lot harder. And he saw the opportunity and was like, I'm going to sign this deal. The key thing to note down is the fact that he signed a 3-year deal with a 6-month probationary period where they'll look back into the contract, renegotiate, which started 6 months ago, as this whole ordeal has come to basically light today. So something I will tell you guys is never sign a contract for more than 18 months, 2 years tops. Like, that's even pushing it. For me personally, it's a year. That's what you do it as, and then 3 months probationary period, kind of go back, see who's happy, who's not, how you can fix things, how to make both parties happy. And that's the way you should do it. Back yourself for 1 year. You know, you've got to set it that way. Tfue clearly was young. He was only 19, and he saw the opportunity. FaZe Clan are huge. They're going to make him a superstar. Signs into 3 years, and this is why this is such a big mess. Always just back yourself, and never dive into anything that seems too good to be true, because most of the time, it is. You guys know that I get sponsorships and brand deals, and one of those being Logitech, and I can't get into the actual behind the scenes stuff about it, but I didn't go out there and take the first deal that they threw at me. We kind of negotiated. I was lucky to be in that situation, that position. But the thing is, you never rush into anything in this industry, because people are out there to potentially screw you over and to make money off of you, because, well, at the end of the day, it's all just a business. You've got to look out for yourself, you've got to back yourself, and you've got to take on board for what you believe in. Even just yesterday, I had a video out that was sponsored by FIBA World Cup, which is incredible, something I never thought would actually happen to me, but it's something that's true to me, something that I'm passionate about, and something that my audience knows I'm passionate about, and that actually works with the audience. So you've got to stick to stuff like that. And the reason I'm even bringing this stuff up is the fact that I know a lot of you guys out there create videos, you stream on Twitch or wherever it may be. You do things along those lines. You're trying to be creative, trying to make content for people to watch, because you want to be creative and you want to have an outlet to make that stuff. And we have an amazing platform on YouTube, on Twitch, on Instagram, wherever it may be. And the thing is, my key advice to you is to be patient. Patience is one of the most important things to have in this fast-moving industry. Success doesn't just come overnight. Look at Ninja, for example. You may think, whoa, that guy blew up out of nowhere. Not really. That guy was around for over a decade, and he was playing Halo with some mild success. Obviously, he won some tournaments, won some championships, and things along those lines. But he was never really breaking through into the gaming entertainment industry. He was never as big as he is now, not even a tenth of that. And the thing is, he kept working at it. He kept going, and eventually, after a decade, it paid off. in a year, once Fortnite came around and was popular, he stuck at it. He was one of the first people on that game. And, well, now he's one of the most recognizable faces in our industry and gaming entertainment. That right there is one of the best examples of patience and not diving into every single contract that you could potentially go into. And this isn't a dig at Turner. This isn't a dig at Tfue. Like, this is just some advice to you guys, and hopefully everyone does learn from this just colossal failure of a partnership. And look, I completely understand that if you're relatively unknown and a situation comes on board where you've got the opportunity to sign with an organization or a talent agency or something along those lines, and it's giving you a salary, it gives you opportunities to go to tournaments, it's anything along those lines, you've got to just be careful. That's another tip, is just be very, very careful what you sign. So yeah, at the end of the day, we as a gaming community can learn from this whole Tfue and FaZe Clan dispute. Those guys, they'll all still be millionaires at the end of the day, but we'll learn from this, and hopefully we can take that knowledge and maybe become as successful as they are. Hopefully some of the things I said in this video and this message, that it gets across to you guys. I know it's something different in this video that I've usually gone into. It's usually more about the actual gaming industry and not the gaming entertainment industry, but it was something that was close to me, and I know it's close to some of you guys out there too, a lot of you guys, because you watch these people online, you stay up to date with all this stuff, and I thought I'd just give my side of everything, where it's kind of like, I've been in this for quite a long time. I'm nowhere near as big as some people, but I've been in this race, whatever you want to call it, for quite a long time, and I've learned a lot of stuff over time. I'm 27 now, and I feel like I'm an old fart, but luckily I've gotten through things, and I've learned quite a lot, as I've said. So I've still got a lot to learn, and this right here was another piece of learning experience. So yeah, I probably won't touch on this news story ever again. I might though, depending on how big it escalates, what happens next. But if I do, it'll most likely be an additional piece to an actual gaming news report regarding some actual industry stuff. But yeah, hopefully you guys still enjoyed this video. If you did, please smack the like button. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.